First, let's talk about my background a little bit. I went to real estate school in the early 2000s. This is a long time ago. 2006, went to real estate school in Arizona. In Arizona, first of all, real estate school is just a little 6-week course, 3 subjects, 2 weeks on the subject, and I realized quick that this is not what I was looking for in real estate. I was trying to learn about being an investor, and that's something you're not going to find a school for. Now, there are gurus out there, but the point is I went to real estate school and I was taught how to sell properties already acquired or listed on the MLS. Now, in Arizona, the focus was more of a tax. I don't know if the teachers were CPAs, but in Atlanta in '07, they were leading the nation in fraud, and what they focused on more was fraud and not breaking the laws. Now, I will say this, that I did learn a lot, and also Georgia and Florida share similar laws. That's not what this video is about, not what this channel is going to be geared towards. However, one should know that there is a difference between an agent and an investor. Also went to school to be a loan originator, which is someone who runs the applications, get you pre-approved, all of the pre, not a broker. A mortgage loan originator works more with the application and the qualifications of a person, etc. The front gate of a loan is what you would say. Now, that was a 1 week or 10-day course. Learned a lot about mortgages that I didn't learn as an investor. Now, as an investor, it's a totally different ballgame. You gotta come in here and you have to study the laws and the statutes to stay out of trouble. That's really what investing is about, is really staying out of trouble and staying within the laws. You're not going to find truthful information on YouTube. You know, even me, I'm going to tell you, anything I say, go research it. But it's still a business and a lot of money is made here. The first thing you want to get familiar with in this business is contracts. Now, whenever you're doing anything, you want to look at the statutes and the laws on the subject, not a website, social media, or YouTube. I'll say it again. So you're going to learn what you need to know about contracts when you research contract law. Get familiar with the good faith covenant, learn what a breach of contract is, etc. But you're going to really pay attention to the people or the titles or the actions involved when you're moving contracts. And when I say moving contracts, this is going to be your beginning stage as an investor, is learning contracts, what type of contracts are involved in real estate, and what you can and cannot do with contracts. Mind you this is not an entry strategy. This is just something you need to learn in case things go wrong. This is an exit strategy.
Playing from desktop IC.
So, what you're going to learn first is how to get paid for your signature. Now, the elements involved. You have an assigner, someone who is signing away their rights to a contract. Then you have an assignee, someone who is receiving those rights on behalf of the assigner. Now, typically there's a fee in between that transition called an assignment fee. That's how you'll make your money in the beginning stages of real estate. Now, why would I teach this as the beginning stage? Simply because you need to learn the math, you need to learn the numbers, and you definitely need to learn the definitions and the laws and rules and what you're doing. And in exchange, you will also be familiar with the markets you're good at and that you're not good at. So, not to confuse this with wholesaling. Wholesaling is just like any other business. You're required to close first. You're required to buy the item first before you can sell it at a discount. The trick is getting these properties below market value enough to consider the wholesale deal. You can have a rich auntie in Beverly Hills who's giving you a $500,000 house for 50 grand. And you want to assign that for another 250 on top of that. Now, if you want to wholesale that deal, you want to learn how to close. And you don't need money to close. You can do a dry closing. You can do a double closing. You can use transactional funding. All of these do not require money, but you must close on it before you can call yourself a wholesaler. This has nothing to do with signing a contract. The typical assigner probably will never go to a title office in small towns. In big cities, if that's the way they play, they'll play like that. But there is no need for you to even go to closing as an assigner. Now, in small towns, or the way the big boys play, we was at a golf club and I had a deal and I was looking at 120 grand and I can't get the finances, so I have to settle for 10 on assignment. Well, I need my money right there at the table. I'm gonna sign it. We can get a notary right there. All of it. It's no problem. Definitely want to get a notary. That's what you're gonna need. You need a document notarized when you sign it to get your money. Now, if escrow is in charge or the title office isn't paid to paying everybody, well, you're fine. You can wait because the title office is gonna pay you. But remember, once you assign your rights away to that contract, there is no obligation to you anymore. Now, we're going to wholesaling and different ways of wholesaling in the near future. But right now, the beginning basics, you're going to learn how to sign contracts and all the different contracts involved. There's a lease, there's an option, there's land contracts, there are several installment agreements, depending on your location. And of course, you got the purchase agreement. All these can make you money. And all those come with strategies. Remember, never get in a deal that ever pays for itself. And your exit strategy should not be your entry. We're just teaching you the exit strategy so you don't get in bad deals. You shouldn't want to exit any deal you're into, because you shouldn't enter into a deal that's not profitable. We'll continue this later. If you have any questions, reach out to me.